Welcome to Off the Cut, a podcast where we talk about building, making,
and answering all of your questions.
I'm Eric from Spenceley Design Co.
And I'm Zach from Zach Builds. If you have a question that you would like us to answer on air, you can send it to offthecutpodcast@gmail.com.
You can find both of us on YouTube, Instagram, and unfortunately, because we have to keep up with kids, you can find us on TikTok too.
All right, now let's get into the show.
Good evening, everyone. Oh, man, dude, that finger point, that was good. That really helped me out.
You nailed it. You nailed it.
I know. I felt good. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Off the Cut episode 46. We're up in Toronto. Today is known as Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023.
Welcome to New Year.
Yeah, it's that awkward time. Like, you remember writing papers as a kid? You'd go, like, put the date on it, and it took you 6 months to put the right year?
Oh, do I ever? Yeah.
But anyway,
I'm not going to remember to write 2023 on anything.
And well, luckily at our age, we don't really have to put dates on stuff.
It's true. The date does not come up that often anymore, which is nice. I appreciate that.
You'll like this food of the day, by the way.
Oh.
But here in Ohio, today is respectfully dedicated to the food of the day, Fruitcake Toss Day.
Okay, last week it was fruitcake, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's why this was perfect. Okay,
but it's doing that thing again where it's like it's not food. Like they're talking. It's like the one where it was like buffet breakfast or whatever.
Or food of the day was whiskey.
Yeah, like that too.
I mean, I suppose for some people it could be a food.
Okay, let's talk about what is a fruitcake toss. It's some sort of like competition or something you can do, right?
Zach, I'm glad you asked because as soon as I saw this, I was like, I'm going to come prepared so we're not hearing this awkward key rattling thing like we usually have.
That's professionalism, ladies and gentlemen.
Only took us 46 episodes. Okay, hear me out. I got a couple sentences. Fruitcake Toss Day is on January 3rd. Yeah, I know. On this day, take that fruitcake you never got around to eating and and you don't want, and send it spiraling hundreds or thousands of feet into the air, depending on the power of your throwing arm. Every year, a few hundred people gather in downtown Minotto Springs, California. I don't speak French. To hurl hundreds of fruitcakes into the air by hand, cannon, and slingshot.
Wow.
Fruitcakes last for ages, so don't throw that fruitcake out. We both know no one in your home will eat. Throw it into the air. That's the catchphrase.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Here's a conspiracy theory for you.
Oh, God. Yeah, I like this.
Was Fruitcake Toss Day created by Big Fruitcake in order to make up for their dwindling sales? They're like, listen, boys, people have caught on to us. They realize that this stuff that we're making is inedible, so now we need to come up with another use for it. Let's start Fruitcake Toss Day, and then people are going to buy our fruitcakes just to destroy them. And then
if you
got a huge bonus that year.
If you told me that, I'd be like, Zach, you're a genius.
If you owned a fruitcake company and I came to you with that idea, you'd be like, hire that man. Yeah.
Give this guy the biggest bonus we can. 1995 was the first day of fruitcake.
Okay. Well, I mean, I like the spirit of it. You're taking something that's inedible and you're finding a new use for it.
Well, I mean, it basically mirrors what we had said last week, that fruitcakes are disgusting and nobody wants one. So it's a holiday to get that all situated.
I don't know why this reminded me of this, but over the holiday break, I was spending some time with my nephew, who's like 2.5, 3. And I realized that the line between child's cutlery or child's plate, serving plate, and frisbee is remarkably thin.
Yeah, they have very high lips on,
and they're just colored plastic.
Yeah,
I mean, if you gave me a child's dinner plate and a frisbee, I couldn't tell you the difference between the two.
Especially if you're blindfolded.
Exactly. I'd have to toss it and listen to the sound of it cutting through the air in order to properly know.
Did he have the plates that have the pre-designated divider sections where you put
no.
Oh man.
I mean, that sounds kind of nice, even as an adult. If somebody made like a nice ceramic plate with like little divided sections, yeah.
I mean, you ever go to like a barbecue and like you put your baked beans in the one little plastic section? Yeah,
exactly. Have you ever met one of these adults that won't let their food touch?
Yes.
Yeah.
One of my good friends does that. I know he's not listening to this. Austin, I know my good friend Austin. His food touches, he loses his damn mind.
Does he actually get like actually angry about it?
I if say you're at a barbecue or something, right? And like he had like a hot dog on his plate, and then you like threw some baked beans on his plate, and it like touched his bun. He'd be like, "Dude, come on, are you serious?" I think he'd probably still eat it, but he wouldn't be happy about it.
Okay. I respect the people. Like, it's okay to get mad as long as you eat it at the end of the day. I think that's fine.
Right. I feel you.
I have a little bit of that energy. Like, I don't like unintentionally mixing flavors if I can avoid it, but I still gotta eat the damn food. Like,
oh yeah, no, that's fair. Like, if you get a side that doesn't necessarily match with whatever it touched.
Yeah, I think like the bean hot dog thing, that's a great example. It's like I don't necessarily want bean sauce on my hot dog bun, but I'll still eat it anyways. Like, that's not crazy.
Have you ever put baked beans on a hot dog? Almost acted like the baked beans or like the chili in a chili dog was just straight baked beans?
I have not done that, but now that you're mentioning it, I kind of want to do it. Oh, hey, I wanted to talk to you about this. I was watching a TikTok video popped up, and somebody was saying that it's like a Midwest delicacy to dip French toast into baked beans.
Never heard of this.
Okay.
It's probably some nasty food stuff Miranda does.
They were like, "Oh, it's huge in Ohio to do this."
Hold on. Stand by. Let's ask her.
Okay.
Hey, Miranda. Mandy.
Let's see.
No response. So she comes in. We'll get a live response. She does dip peanut butter sandwiches into chili, though.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. Maybe I'm mixing up it was like a white bread sandwich, and then like... So is that a Midwest thing, to dip peanut butter into chili?
So I had never heard of it.
Okay.
But she said everybody where she grew up, which is, I mean, that for closest geographical thing, think like Cincinnati, so like southwestern Ohio. She's like, yeah, everybody there does it. I was like, I never heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I personally, I get disgusted when people put ketchup on grilled cheese, so.
See, I wholeheartedly agree. Mm-hmm. However, I get where those people are going, right? Because it's like tomato soup, like,
Oh, I never thought about it like that. But you're right. It's just so sweet. The sweetness and then the saltiness of the cheese. I don't know.
I've got a good friend of ours that she despises ketchup so much that if you like sit next to her eating ketchup and she looks at it, she'll start gagging.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's like if we go to a restaurant, like somebody's like, anybody getting ketchup? You want, like, Haley, you want to sit on the other side of the table? Or it's funny.
That is funny. I've heard of people having really adverse reactions to mustard, but never ketchup. But I get it. Like, ketchup's, I don't know. It's a little weird and a little gross. I don't put it on a lot of stuff.
I'm not a big mustard guy.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I'll let you know a little secret. I'm not a big condiment guy.
Just raw dogging it.
I literally raw dog hot dogs all the time.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, like I'm there for the meat.
that is a lifelong slogan that I can get behind.
Put that on my tombstone.
Zach,
or
here for the meat.
He was here for the meat.
Was it to be 86, 87?
88.
88 to too soon.
Yeah.
Have you seen that Always Sunny in Philadelphia where they get the Barnabas Reynolds, that's like their cat or like the baby, and it's like 2004 to too soon. They have like
I don't think so.
I think it was they were trying to like fake a death to cash on the life insurance policy or something like that.
That sounds like an Always Sunny episode. I love that show.
Well, let's. What do we got? First episode of the new year, right?
Yeah, very true.
I thought we could start this year with kind of maybe a slight year in review, talk about some things that went well over the past year.
Okay.
Things that went poorly.
Okay.
First off, I want to say of things that went well, I think it was pretty close to about this time last year that, you and I had started kind of talking to each other more often and floated the idea of doing a podcast. I just want to say to everybody genuinely listening, we're blown away by how well this has gone.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And we truly couldn't do it without everybody who's listening. So I would say that's a huge, huge thing. Like, it's kind of interesting to think, last year at this time, this wasn't even a thing.
I know.
Cool.
And it's like such a part of my life. It's funny how quickly something, if you do it often enough and you like put the time in, it can become like a big part of your life, which is podcast now is for me. So it's really cool to see. Yeah, every time I check, there's more listeners, more patrons. Like, it just feel very positive about it. It's one of the funnest things I get to do. So deeply appreciative of just that we have an audience that allows us to do that.
Right. I remember the first time I looked at our stats and I was like, we got 100 people listening to this show.
Yeah.
And now, I guess the episode that we just put out, we're consistently getting at least 600-700 views an episode, which in podcast world is like top 5%.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy how you don't need to have a huge audience in podcasting,
right?
To be one of the bigger podcasts. It's kind of interesting, but it's cool.
So we're just about to hit 25,000 total listens to our episodes, which
very cool.
If you put that on YouTube, it's like right, but that's pretty big for a podcast. So everybody, we genuinely appreciate it. The only way that this can grow or get bigger is if you share it to other people. I mean, that's the truth. So we appreciate it. But what was something within the last year that you think went well, poorly, not as anticipated? Hit me with anything you got.
Oh, man. It's interesting because I don't really tend to think of things. I know, like, the new year is supposed to be this time where you, like, retrospectively look back on the year, but it's because I don't really think of things in intervals like that. Like, I didn't even really realize it until you said it that we've been doing this podcast for a year. But, yeah, it's like
almost.
Totally. Yeah.
Well, I think it's March 1st or something was our first episode.
Okay. Well, we've done 46 episodes, so one a week. It's like, that's almost
March
a year
1st?
right there. March 1st. Okay. I'm trying to think, like, what... I feel like, basically everything for me for the last year has gone really well. It's exceeded my expectations in basically every way.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to, like... I don't know. I'm very thankful for all of it. It's all been great.
Yeah, do you set like a financial goal for the business each year? Were you able to meet that?
I really should. I have a lot of friends who are big on goal setting. They say it's really helpful, like to set like certain intervals for you. I think part of it is like a fear that I won't hit it, and then I will then have to deal with the internal shame of not hitting my own internal targets.
That's fair.
Yeah, but it's good to have something to aim for. It's something I know I should be doing, even though I don't.
Yeah.
So everybody listening, do as I say and not as I do.
Do you have any like targets or like things that you're like, man, this year, this is something I'd really like to hit?
Yeah. I think 100,000 subscribers for me on YouTube was one of those things last year.
Huge.
Yeah. So that was a big one. For this year, I haven't begin to think about it. I would just like to... One thing I want to focus on this year is consistency in terms of the, like
a tempo, maybe?
The tempo, and also, like, it's hard with YouTube, right? But I would like to be getting consistent views on my videos. Even if they're not, like, huge numbers, I would like it to be a little bit less feast and famine.
Yeah.
So I would like to focus on kind of dialing in on what the audience expects, what they'll react to. Try and get more in tune with my audience, I think.
Right.
And find the middle ground where I'm also happy creating. But I would like to just dial in on that a little bit more. Stop, having these videos that do hundreds of thousands of views, and then you release another one. It's like, 2,000 views. Like,
right. And I guess from a viewer or a listener standpoint, everybody listening, you don't realize that having videos perform like that is really hard for Zach and I. Yeah. Because one, like the mental aspect behind it, be like, man, this one just sucked. But two, when you're reaching out with brands and talking to them, they'd be like, okay, well, you had a 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, 4,000 video. Yeah. That brand is going to go, oh, what if we partner with Zach on this video and it only gets 4,000 views? They're going to want to give him less money because of that.
Exactly. It makes it a lot trickier to negotiate because you can't bring consistent views to the table.
Right.
You're essentially a gamble for the brand.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely part of the reason. But I also just, for my own, and so I think one of the things that's so frustrating about having a video not do well is sometimes like, okay, this video is not going to perform well, but other times you're like, I worked really hard on this video, like I'm really excited about it, and when there's that mismatch between your own excitement and the audience's excitement, people are like, I'm not watching that, that's not worth my time, and you're like, but I was so pumped for this project. Like, that's almost the hardest part of having a video not do well.
I know, I wholeheartedly agree. Like, when I put out the video of my how to get free tools video, I was really excited to share this because it's something I'd never seen on YouTube. Nobody really talks about it. And I was pumped. And it did just crap. Like, it hasn't done anything on YouTube.
Really? I thought it did pretty well.
It got to, like, right now it's at like 20,000 views or something like that. And it's been out for like almost a year. 6 months, a year.
Oh, man, time flies.
Right.
Because I remember watching that video when it had been out for like a few days and it had already had like 10,000 views. I was like, oh, this is going to do well for Eric.
Yeah, let's see if I can go back. I mean, I've been like A/B testing the crap out of stuff.
Yeah, as you have to
do. Yeah, I can't even look at my thumbnails. Oh, hold on. Oh, it must be doing well now. It's at 87,000. No, just kidding.
You go.
Wrong, dude. Wrong video. I don't know what any of my videos are because they have the dumbest titles and thumbnails now.
Yes, because you've had to go back and change everything.
Right. Oh, no, I think it's this one. I just changed it to me holding a domino, and it says, I should have never bought this.
And that's a video of getting free tools?
Yeah, I shouldn't have bought it. I should have just got a free one.
Oh, I see. I see what you did there.
Yeah, no, I mean, so here's the analytics. It's slightly going up.
So, yeah, it's got a good little trajectory.
It's definitely gone up with me changing things around, but it's been out for 160 days, so almost 6 months, and then 26,000 views. I mean, great, but I thought that was going to be one that just went gangbusters. I was really excited about it, but...
That's how I felt about my NFT table, but sometimes...
And I thought that was a sweet project.
Yeah, thank you, man. I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. It's just... So the hardest thing about that video is you think it's going to do well, and it's like, then you put it out, it doesn't do well. You start to question yourself as a creator, right? Yeah. You're like, do I understand what my audience wants? Do I understand what they're looking for, the types of things they're interested in? Like... Yeah, so it makes you question yourself and all your strategies and all blah, 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 blah. Like, so.
But at the end of the day...
mismatch is the hardest thing.
Yeah, no, there's absolutely the mismatch sucks. But I think at the end of the day, as we've talked about this, the vast majority of the success of a video is the stupid title and thumbnail.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And that's why... Like, I spend an inordinate amount of time going and, like, there's some videos that I put out, and I kid you not, I'll have 20 to 40 different thumbnails that I make. So as soon as one, I'm like, okay, this one did better than this, I immediately start testing another one. And I pretty much nonstop test them now.
Yep. No, you absolutely have to. And it's been interesting for me to see, because I've had I've been able to get the click-through rate a lot higher on my videos lately by removing anything descriptive about what's in the video. Has really helped, which is annoying to me as a creator. But hey, again, what do you know? Or what do I know? But I found that it's really tanked my view duration. But it doesn't even seem to matter.
I've gotten a lot of my videos that have gone literally to the moon. If I look at the analytics, it is straight up.
Yeah.
And the average view duration is 20 to 22%.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's been happening to me a lot lately, but it's okay, my click-through rate's 8-9%.
Right.
Even, so...
I don't think it matters as much anymore.
No, I thought view duration was super important, but now I'm starting to realize it's all just click-through rate.
Yeah. I guess one of the things, alongside making video and just woodworking, that I've kind of stepped back and realized within the last year is that, how necessary it is for you to find these things to fail at, because it exposes things that you need to change. And if every single thing that you do goes perfectly according to plan, you're never going to change or grow.
Totally.
I almost look forward to something failing or not working, because I can be okay, well then now I need to pivot and I need to learn something new.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's every obstacle is a learning opportunity, right?
Right.
And it's, I guess, kind of cliche to say, but if you manage, I don't know, you learn how to overcome each obstacle, and at the end of the day, you become a better creator for it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think if you want to look at it with the tool aspect, kind of something I've been reflecting on recently, because I just actually sold my table saw today, and my new table saw comes on Friday.
Sweet.
But I'm kind of making this video talking about, obviously, I want to talk about getting a new saw, but I also want to kind of document here's what I started out with, and then I upgraded to this one, and then I upgraded to this one, and kind of blend it into you don't know that you need all of these different things when you first start out. So I wouldn't waste money on a $5,000 table saw when you first start.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to appreciate everything that's in it. Start with the crappy stuff, have it fail you, get mad at the tool that you have, and then upgrade. I think you're going to appreciate and respect the tools way more when you go with that.
Yeah, well, because, I know this from the camera world. I had a couple buddies who were, they were born into means, let's just say.
Sure.
And they started getting into photography and videography, and they ran out and they bought these super expensive, $5,000 cameras.
Sure.
And then they get frustrated because they're well, I have this expensive camera, but the videos I'm shooting with it don't look like what you see on TV.
Right.
And it's yeah, just because you have the fancy tool, it doesn't guarantee results, and you won't even appreciate the fancy tool unless you've invested all those hours into learning how to use it properly, right? That's when all the bells and whistles start to really become useful and appreciated. It's okay, yeah, I can use this little this little stop, or I can use the extra horsepower on the table saw, or it glides so much smoother than my old table saw. You don't appreciate those things until you've learned a crappy tool.
Right. And for me, the biggest jump from going from my job site to the contractor saw that I had was the fact that when I set the blade, this seems really trivial, when I'd set it to 90 degrees or set it to 45 degrees, it would actually stay there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I'd run a board through, and then I get to the end of the cut, and now I've got a 5-degree lean on the job site saw. And I was this is infuriating. So sure, the contractor saw that I had is not the best saw in the world, but getting that, I was this is amazing.
It's funny, my saw stop has a locking adjustment, so you can you
Yeah,
you adjust the wheel till you get
Right.
to 90, and then there's another inside wheel that you can crank down to lock it in position. But because it's a nice saw, like no amount of vibration has ever moved it off 90 degrees. Yeah, so I just leave it. Like I never lock it down after I set it, but it's there.
That's so funny because I was so used to my job site saw that it would just move that still to this day on the contractor, I guess not anymore because I got rid of it today. I would crank down that handle so freaking hard that I had to get a wrench to turn it every time.
I don't think you'll have to do that with your Harvey once you get it.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Who else? I was seeing somebody else. Maybe it was Christy. Did she just get one?
Yeah, everyone's getting them.
Everybody's getting them with the big, actually, maybe it wasn't Christy. I feel like it was another female creator. Anyways, but I saw the sliding, oh my god.
The slider crosscut table thingy?
Crosscut, there we go. Yeah, the crosscut attachment for it. It's big. It's got like legs that come down off the side.
Yeah, actually, I don't think he sent it to me. It wasn't in the shipping manifest, so maybe it's back ordered. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay. It'll be interesting to see. I'm curious if it will fit in your shop because it looked like it was an additional 16 inches off the side.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I'm a little nervous, but there's a guy, Greg, came by today, and he messaged me. He was like, "Hey, I've got a Ryobi table saw that has like a 12-inch rip capacity or something like that. Do you think this will be a good upgrade?" I was like, "Dude, you are literally the perfect person for this." So he came by, talked to him, real nice guy. But then as he was there, I started realizing, like, well, you probably you should take this miter gauge because I'm going to get a new one. Oh, I also got a new set of dado blades. Take this. He walked out with shop vac, one of those cyclone things. I gave him so much stuff, a bunch of woodpecker stuff that I had extra of, and he just walked away with huge eyes and was like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, dude." I was like, "You're doing me a favor. Get it out of here. Thanks."
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool just to meet somebody, and I have been where he was with that saw, so I was pumped to give him this.
That's awesome. That's really nice.
So I gave him a $700 table saw, a $400 router lift, and a $200 router, plus all the other stuff. I gave him for $500.
Really?
Right. I was like, it seems like a pretty good deal to me. I'd be happy with it.
Does your new table saw have a rotor lift already built into it?
It does.
Oh,
cast iron too.
That's fancy. I like that.
Yeah. I got off the phone earlier with the freight company. Dude, managing freight deliveries is a nightmare. And I know because that's what my day job is in.
I know. I was going to say, were you speaking all the inside lingo to the guy?
Well, that's what I asked. She was like, "Yeah."
Or she, sorry.
Yeah. Come on, Zach. It was a customer service lady. She was like, the earliest we can do it is Friday. I was like, "Yeah, perfect." And she was like, "We'll deliver it somewhere between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. I go, "You can't give me a 2-hour time window?" She goes, "Nope." I go, "Well, I work with your company in my day job, and I know that a 2-hour time window is standard for your company." And she goes,
"Uh-oh.
Let me get back to you." Never answered that. But then she was like, Can we get a semi-truck to your residence? And I said, "No." I was like, "You need to put it on a 26 or 28-foot box truck." She said, "A what?" I was like, this is
this is what you do, right?
You call people all day to deliver this stuff. And
yeah.
I have no idea if...
That's funny.
It could potentially be a nightmare. I mean, if they don't come with a pallet jack...
Oh, they have to, though, don't they?
I sure as hell hope so. But, what if the truck just goes out on, the main road and is like, "Hey, I'm here." They're not going to leave it on the main road.
No, would they even legally be allowed to leave it on the main road?
I wouldn't sign for it.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
well, it'll be interesting to see. I'm curious I'm excited for next week's episode when you tell me about the delivery fiasco.
Oh, I'm not looking forward to it. It's a 913-pound pallet.
Amazing. I thought my CNC was 400 or 500 pounds. I thought that was big, but That's
well, I
next
mean,
level.
like the pallet itself usually weighs like 70 pounds plus all the corrugate and like all the other stuff, and ugh.
Hopefully it comes in a few pieces. It's not just like one. Although, maybe that might be kind of nice.
I gotta imagine that like the cabinet, it's going to be one piece, and then like the wings and stuff are going to be separate pieces. And
yeah, it's been so long since I got the saw stop. I can't even remember.
oh, it's a nightmare. Was when you get freight deliveries to your shop, is it a disaster?
It's not too bad because it's kind of like just back up into the driveway, and you can like back up to like within 5 feet of the door, and then just wheel it out. So
just
it's
use
not
the
too
lift
bad.
gate.
Yeah.
Ugh. You know, speaking of disasters, I don't know. Somebody messaged me, and I apologize because I don't remember who it was. Somebody wanted to know if there was an update on your parking spot fiasco in your condo.
Oh, man.
Did you sell your car?
No. Oh, so now I have to navigate in at an incredibly awkward angle, which sucks. I'm like, I need to get a shorter truck or something so that I can get in here easier. But basically, now I have to. So I had it pretty sweet before.
Briefly
I don't know if
recap for people who might be joining the podcast recently.
Okay, basically, the building management company. I live in a condo, and I park my truck underground in a parking garage down below. Basically, when I signed the lease, they screwed up, and they told me to park in the wrong parking spot. And this came to light because my neighbor was storing something in the back of their parking spot. And they kept sending me emails about it, like, hey, why are you storing this stuff in the back of your parking spot? I was like, it's not my spot. I don't park there. Check the deed. Like, right. I'm in the next parking spot over. Anyways, it comes to light that I've been parking in the wrong spot for, I don't know, 1.5 years now. So now I've had to swap with my neighbor. At first, I thought my neighbor was just going to be cool about it. I was like, can we just continue to both park in the same spot? Right. But he's on the board of the condo, and I think he's a little bit of a rule follower. So he's like, no, we got to switch. So we switch parking spots. But I have the big, long truck, and I'm in underground condo parking. So it's kind of awkward for me to get... my truck barely fits. There are 3 or 4 points between the entrance to the garage and my parking spot where I'm working with, inches.
Oh, wow.
I'm almost scraping pillars the whole way down to my parking spot.
An inch makes all the difference.
Yeah, that's what she said. And so I used so the parking spot was actually pretty good in the sense that it was at the end of a big long run.
Okay.
So I could basically come down the lane or driveway or whatever you want to call it, hang a right turn, and then back up right into my spot.
Oh, okay.
Or I could probably head in, but I'm a real driver, so I back into every parking spot. But now I've shifted one spot over to the side, so I'm no longer at the end of that long run. So now I have to back up. I have to go hard 45 degrees one way, get the end of my truck between my neighbor's car and a pillar, get in about 10 feet, and then start cutting back wildly, and then try and just thread this little tiny needle that's just barely bigger than my truck to get in every time.
That sucks.
Yeah. So I'm not super happy about it.
So you didn't take my idea up with just telling the condo board that you guys sold each other your cars?
No, I mean, that was going to be my plan if my neighbor was a real human being, but apparently he's one of these rule followers, so...
I hate people like that.
I know.
That sucks.
It's just can't you just be cool? Everybody?
Is that your biggest grievance that you needed to air for the Festivus season?
Yes, I think that was the biggest one. But that reminded me, coming back to things that I would like to do in 2023. Definitely
get your Ford Lightning.
Yeah, get my Ford Lightning. That's another grievance. We'll cover that later. But on a serious note, is just be on my phone less.
Ooh.
And I know this is such a classic millennial thing. And I'm pretty good about it. If I'm out to dinner with all my friends, I'm not the person checking their phone all the time and scrolling Instagram or whatever. But I think especially a lot at home, and especially a lot with Sophie, like I have a tendency to, like, if we're eating dinner, like look at my phone and like respond to messages and stuff. Try and find a better work-life balance and be more present for more of the time.
That's fair. Do you guys eat at a dinner table, or you typically eat on the couch?
No, we eat on the couch, which I think is a bad practice to be in.
So this elusive dinner table that people still don't think exists. We built that like specifically so like when we eat dinner, we 90% of the time sit at the dinner table and we don't bring our phones, and it like forces you to just talk, and it's great. We love it. We love it.
We've Sophie and I, we haven't decided on the exact time yet, but we want to set a time every day, be it like 9 p.m. or something like that, where we just put our phones in another room. And that's it. Like, that's, phone off for the rest of the day. Because what happens after 9 p.m.? Like, whatever. I don't respond to a couple Instagram messages or something.
One of the biggest things that's helped me is I have turned every single notification on my phone off, other than phone, text, and calendar.
That's smart.
If you send me a message on Instagram, I will not see it until I click on the Instagram app. I don't even get like the little like circle that comes up on the app, because if I see that, I'll want to click on it.
Right.
It was really hard to adjust to at first, but dude, it has been a game changer for me.
Yeah. I think I should do that as well.
Likewise with, I don't think I have it yet, but on the iPhone, you can focus sleep. Okay. So I can put it on sleep mode. So like if I unlock my phone like this, it says sleep and I can't just scroll up. Oh. It'll like want you to enter a password in, and basically would be like, hey, you've like set yourself in this sleep mode. Put your damn phone down. So you can't just like pick it up and go swipe. It'll like prompt you for a password, and then you're like, that's right. Don't use my phone. So I use that, and it helps me a lot.
I think I should do the same. Because you don't really realize it's like, if your first instinct when you're bored, like, when you're
swipe up.
Well, yeah, swipe up, try and find some stimulation, right? But if you don't have that option available to you, then it's like the next logical thing to do is like start a conversation with the person you're with.
Exactly.
And I think that's it adds a little bit of friction between starting conversations, just having a moment with the person you're with. And it it gives you like a separate path that you can take. And I don't always take it. Like, I'm pretty good about, having real conversations with my partner, but like I could be better.
Yeah.
So why not?
I think everybody could. Yeah. I forget what they are. I don't know. Oh. So there are these card decks that they're right next to me. They're called Questions for Humans. And they have a bunch of different like versions. Like I've got a couples one, I've got like a guys night, I've got friends. And so like, you want to do a couples question, Zach?
Yeah, let's do a couples question.
Okay. This is going to be the one. What household chore do you hate the most? And before you answer it, the idea is like, some of them are a little deeper or whatever. Yeah. But the general concept is like, you have this little question that like might be kind of funny or whatever. None of them are political or whatever related, and it just like starts a conversation. Like sometimes Miranda and I will bring these to a brewery, and we'll answer like one and be at the brewery for like 4 hours.
Right. I like that. That's a good idea. To answer your question, I think deep cleaning the bathroom. I'm always,
I like cleaning the bathroom.
Well, there you go. We would be a good match. Maybe we should ditch our partners and just...
I'm down.
and just move in with each other.
So, because I like getting like, I'm like, man, this bathroom is nice and clean.
Yes, I do like that.
I like it.
So this is such a weird tangent, but I replaced all the light bulbs in the bathroom, and I went from 60-watt bulbs to 100, or the equivalent, because they're LED, the equivalent of 100-watt bulbs, and now the bathroom is way brighter, and I like it so much because when you're cleaning your teeth, you can really see all the gunk that's still in there.
Well, here's a real question, and see this is how the cards work, right?
Yes.
What Kelvin light bulb do you use in your home? Are you a 2800, 4000, a 5000?
So I like 2700 for the look of it.
Yeah.
But 2700 tends to look really bad on camera.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I've gone around I've gone around the house and done everything in 3000, which
That's
is like
fair.
my compromise. It's close, it's a little closer to like bright white, so it looks a little bit better on camera. Like I think all the lights in my room right now are 3000.
Yeah. Looks good.
Yeah. What about you?
So because we're in the apartment and there's like zero overhead light anywhere,
Oh, interesting.
had to go with 5000.
Oh.
But dude, it's bright, and like sometimes if you're like, I just want to relax, you're like, well, you have to turn the lights off.
Yes, because it amps you up because it's like it's closer to sunlight, right? So it's like
Makes
that
you feel
blue...
like you're in a hospital.
That too. But you know, so I have heard that people say that 5000 Kelvin is actually really good to have in your shop because
That's what I have.
Yeah, it's like you can see details easier. I'm not sure what the exact science behind it is, but it's apparently it's a little bit easier to see fine details with it.
I dig it.
So, yeah.
I cannot wait to get a new shop and like have. I think I have 6 like 24-inch strips in the ceiling, and like it works, but I could definitely get more light in my shop.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, 6 is probably pretty good for the amount of space you have, but you can never have too much, right?
No.
Like, worst case scenario, you throw a dimmer and just take everything down to 80% if you really do have too much, but that's pretty rare.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. And ones
totally.
that like aren't cheap. Because like sometimes I'll notice like huge variations in like the white balance. The flicker's terrible if I'm not at 180 degrees on the camera.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And going back to the whole concept of being more present, and also what you were saying about the cards with conversations.
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend of mine recently, and he's an introverted guy too, so we're on the same wavelength there. But I was talking to him, and he was saying how when he would go out with like those moments where you like go out with your girlfriend and your partner and you're meeting like her friend's spouse.
Yeah. Yep.
And you don't know the guy that well. I was saying to him, like, a lot of the time what I do is I keep a lot of my own opinions bottled up.
Oh, hell yeah.
I won't necessarily share a lot of stuff, but he's the same way, but he was saying to me that he realized that in a weird way that's kind of selfish. Because you're just looking for an easy out on the conversation. Like you're not having a real human interaction with the person if you're not really sharing your true opinions about things. And that struck me as very true. And it's like, you're not really connecting with another person unless you're like really sharing what you believe and, just sharing your own personality. It's selfish to dominate somebody and not let them share and not listen to them, but it's also selfish to not really share your true self with other people. So
that's fair.
Yeah. So that's also something I would like to work on a little bit is just being more like actually present and being more of myself when I'm out with people.
I think there's also a line to be had too. Like, let's say, you meet Miranda for the first time, right? Mm-hmm. And then you're like, hey, I'm Zach. Here are all my political views. So-and-so should die. It's like, whoa, easy, dude. Relax.
Well, but yes, I 100% agree with you. But, like maybe I say to her, I think that dipping peanut butter in chili is gross, but then she's like, well, have you ever tried it? And I'm like, well, no, I haven't actually ever tried it. Let's go to the kitchen and actually try it out. Like, I think, you have to caveat, like, sharing your opinion with, like, also be open to being wrong and don't be an asshole about it, right? Like, but I think, in some ways, not sharing your opinion can make you one of those weird, like, angry political people, right? Because you're not interacting with people and I don't know, seeing their reaction and like kind of bouncing your ideas off other people. I don't know. It's, yeah.
Or maybe you say, share my thoughts and opinions on things that I'm willing to have a civil discourse about.
Yeah, and be willing to have civil discourse about more things, you know?
Sure, yeah.
Like, I understand what you're saying. Like, so many people have a hard time with the civil part of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many, like, some of my friends where I know that I will never bring up a certain topic because
100%.
They are unwilling to have a conversation or unwilling to potentially think or hear views outside of their own. I know it's not even worth talking about.
Yeah, I know, and I struggle so much with that too. Like, I had my friend over on New Year's Eve, and he started going off on all this like political stuff, and I disagreed with basically everything he was saying. But I just kind of sat there, I smiled, I nodded, I was like, let's just wait him out, wait till he's done with his tirade,
right?
And I was like, but that's not like a real human moment, you know? Like, it is, again, comes back to it. Like, I was kind of being selfish in that moment. I was like, I'm not going to share my true opinion because I just want to get through this as quickly as possible.
No, I 100% agree. But I think sometimes you can tell when somebody is unwilling to have a civil discourse. Yeah,
no, you're absolutely right. So there is definitely some line to be drawn somewhere. But I think, personally, I err too much on the side of, like, just go along to get along. But,
no, I am probably the exact same. So, maybe the thing we can talk about is if we're in this situation where you're meeting, like, your partner's friend, or your partner's friend's partner. That's typically how it is. You know, Sophie's like, hey, Zach, I want you to go hang out with Kayla and her boyfriend, and you're like, I don't know this Doug guy. And you get stuck with Doug in the kitchen. What do you talk about?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, usually, so normally I start with the basic, what do you do for a living?
Yeah.
Because that's usually pretty, and you can tell pretty quickly when you're talking to another guy if they're into their job or not. Right. And so if they're into their job, it usually makes for very fertile conversation. And if they're not, then it's like, okay, then my go-to is usually, what would you rather be doing? If I get the sense that they don't like their job, that's usually my go-to game plan.
The first one I always ask, because I know that I can follow up with kind of a funny story, and usually it kind of breaks that like ice, as I always say. So if you go out with, Sophie's friend Kayla and Doug, you go, Doug, how did you meet Kayla? Even if you know, you might hear a funny story from his perspective.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
So try that one. It's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I will, for sure.
And it's a genuine question, but also gives that other person, like, you can kind of gauge their personality. Like, if they're going to tell you something silly, you'd be like, oh, this guy's a jokester. Like, we can joke about stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like, so that's a good example. I have a really hard time joking with people that I've just met because I'm always really worried that I'm going to offend them.
Or the delivery is going to be bad.
The delivery is always going to be bad. I've come to accept that that's just the natural order of things. Right. But I have a very dark sense of humor. Sure. And I'm always really worried that I'm going to, like, offend people when I make jokes. Right. So I often don't joke, but, again, that's me being scared, and then I'm depriving the person of maybe a potentially more entertaining conversation.
No, that's fair. Yeah. One of the things I know that Miranda told me, we have this running joke that one time, this was several years ago, we were hanging out with my parents, and we were playing, like, Uno or something like that, and my dad got all mad. He was like, oh, you guys are just being big, stupid idiots. And there's, like, just as, like, a joke, right? Like, if you knew my dad, you'd know it was a complete joke. So, like, we call each other big, stupid idiots all the time. Well, I called her that around her mom, and her mom got mad. Like, her mom thought I was being, like, super disrespectful. And it's like stuff like that, right? That, like, if the delivery is off or the intent you didn't learn, then,
No, totally. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, it's it would be funny to Miranda's mom had she known your dad a little bit better if she was in on the joke, but she's not. So
yeah, and like I totally get how it would be, you know, challenging to have somebody say that to your daughter. You're like, what the hell? What the hell?
I bring you into my home and you call my daughter an idiot? What's wrong with you?
And not just an idiot, a big stupid idiot.
Big stupid idiot. That's right.
Well, I have a grievance that I want to air. Mm-hmm. And it's a lighthearted grievance.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Steve Ramsey of Woodworking for Mere Mortals?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So, I highly enjoy his second channel, Steve Ramsey Plus.
Oh.
Every year he puts out a Steve's favorite movies of the year video. Big movie guy.
Okay.
Well, I took one of his movie recommendations, and let me tell you, and I don't say this lightly, this movie, and I'll take the explicit here, was absolute dog shit.
Does it make you respect his woodworking less now that his movie suggestions are such shit?
It was so bad.
All right, what was the movie? I gotta know.
Okay, so and hear me out. It sounds, this is my kind of movie. Mm-hmm. It's a thriller called Barbarian.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen this, but I had a friend recommend this to me recently.
Did they watch it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to tell you, Zach, if you have HBO Max, if not, I'll give you my password and you can watch it for free.
Perfect.
Go into it just knowing that, like, the first half hour, you're going to be like, man, this is a good movie. Mm-hmm. And then one thing happens and you start laughing. And you're like, oh my God. So the premise of it is it has Bill Skarsgård, who played Pennywise the Clown in the most recent It movies. And the premise of it, and I won't give any spoilers away, is there's a girl, I don't know what the hell her name is. A girl rents an Airbnb, goes to the Airbnb, can't get in, whatever, knocks on the door, and then Bill Skarsgård answers, and he's like, yeah, I rented this Airbnb too. Oh. Some discourse goes on, and he basically invites her in. But you get this, like, something weird is going on here, right? Mm-hmm.
Good tension. Oh, yeah. This is the first 30 minutes, so I'm still in.
Right. And the way that she acts is unlike any other scary movie. He's like, can I get you any food or drink? No. Because she's being smart. Like,
yes.
She's not going to do like your classic dumb stuff, right?
She is the person, like, when people in the movie theater are screaming, like, don't go through that door.
She doesn't do it.
She doesn't do it. Yeah, she's doing everything right. Like, she's playing to what the audience would expect, I guess, right? Or would do in her shoes.
And so I'm pulled into this. I'm like, oh, man, this is like, you can feel like the tense nature of what's going on. And honestly, first half of the movie, fantastic.
Okay.
So if you go into the movie knowing it's going to suck at the end, you'll be okay with it.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a glowing endorsement if I've ever heard one.
Right. But so, Steve, this is my grievance. Your movie selection this year, and I think this was his number one, if I'm not wrong. And
how many did you give people?
I think 10. I'm sure somebody in the live stream will correct me.
Okay.
I don't see anything yet.
No. Give patience, Eric. I had to write it out.
Oh yeah, and I guess it's like a minute delayed or something, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay on it.
Right. But I don't know. It was disappointing. If you can't find anything that you want to watch, check it out. Barbarian.
Okay.
It's free on HBO Max or
Do you have
Plus.
a movie recommendation that you would put in its place for all the people listening at home?
I almost lost my movie picking privileges this year because usually what the way Miranda and I work is it's like, okay, you picked the last movie or show, now I picked this one. Because sometimes you're like, I kind of really want to watch this. And
yes,
like, eh. So I've been on a streak of poopy movies. And this one definitely topped it. I don't think I've seen... Yeah. I don't think I've seen a really good or picked a really good movie this year. It's disappointing.
I watched, leading up to the end of the new year, my girlfriend and Sophie and I tried to watch all the Harry Potters.
Oh, I still have one, I still read in the last book, so I haven't watched the last one.
You don't want to spoil it for yourself,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Don't tell me what happens.
Okay. Have you been reading it since you were like 16 or 13 or whatever?
Well, I don't have the attention span to read. Like, I'll like read a page and then I'll look down and I've like flipped 10 pages and I'm like, I don't know anything that I read. So I do audiobooks.
Yeah.
I just started the audiobooks like this summer, I think.
Oh, they're great. I love
one.
audiobooks. I've been on the audiobook train for a long time. I have like an Audible collection with like, I don't know. It's got to be a couple hundred books at least at this point.
Does Audible not do sponsorships anymore? Like,
I don't know. I haven't seen anybody sponsored by them in a while, but they used to be all about it. And I know. If anybody's listening over at Audible HQ, hit me up because I would promote the hell out of your stuff.
Oh yeah, I would love Audible.
Honestly, I've been a monthly subscriber on Audible for 10 plus years now, at least.
Not bad.
Yeah.
It's do you do the same thing where like even if you finish a book, you just return it and say you didn't like it, so you can get another one?
No, I haven't done that.
Oh, I used to do that. I would go through like 8, 9, 10 books a month, and I just
really.
Oh, because a lot of them were like shorter, like the audiobooks like 3 or 4 hours or something.
Yeah.
And I just return it. I said I didn't like it because they only give you one book a month with a subscription.
And they have some guarantee where if you don't like it, you can just get a new one, right?
Yeah. So I abused the hell out of the policy.
Yeah. Well, they shouldn't offer if they don't want people to.
That's what I
take them up on it. They actually, you know what? Okay, I'm going to air a real grievance real quick. 1 year for Christmas, my parents got me a year of Audible for as my gift, and I was like, "Oh, this is amazing." But here's the thing: they give you 12 credits all at once, so they don't give you like it wasn't like you still get your one credit and one audiobook every month. They're like, as soon as you enter the code, they're like, "Okay, just pick 12 books right now."
Really?
Yes, and they have a policy where you can't have more than 3 credits stored in your account for more than a month, which I didn't realize.
So they just zapped your credits?
They just zapped my credits. So I went from having 12 credits on December 25th, and then January 31st rolls around. I haven't used them all yet. Boom, 9 credits gone. Or maybe I had used a couple, so it's 8 or 7 credits gone.
Do we have a Boo audio track on our soundboard?
Laughing, transition, Riverside, clapping, drum roll. No boo.
Boo.
Yeah.
There you go.
Boo. Anyway, so
that's garbage.
Clearly I emailed them and yelled at them and they reinstated them, but it's still garbage policy.
Some stores have some really stupid policies. Like, same if you get a gift card and they're like, oh, it expires in 6 months.
They made that illegal, I think.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, they used to do that, but then everybody's like, this is clearly bullshit. So
right.
Yeah, so there was some law passed where gift cards can't expire.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
at least in Canada. Maybe I don't know if it's down in the U.S.
You know who the people that are classically hold on to gift cards too long?
Our patrons?
Our patrons.
Yeah, we're like an hour into this podcast now, and we haven't...
We had to slide over the after show. We got some questions for the after show.
Yeah, but we haven't read our...
I know.
Okay.
I know. So, new patrons this week. We've got Rigid Fans.
Oh, fans up, plural.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm excited for the plural. I'm not excited about the fact that they love Rigid so much, but that's okay.
Yeah. We've got Jevin Cheney. Do you know Jevin?
I don't think so.
His account is blown up. I guess I met him at, he's got like 100 and something on Instagram. He's one of those
awesome
classic people that put out like a couple reels and within like a month gain like 80,000 subs.
Hell yeah, Jevin, get that money.
Yeah, so that's awesome. But then so I met him at the festival event in November. And that's when we were like talking about stuff. He was like, so how much do I charge brands? And I told him like, ideas. He was like, "What?" I was like, he was like, "Oh gosh, I didn't know this." He was like, "I've been undercharging like crazy." So
yeah,
we had a good conversation about that. And then we have Heidi Riley is a rigid fan.
Is that our first female patron?
No, I think we have one or two.
Okay.
So, always appreciate it.
Yes.
I've been telling you, we need to get more women into the woodworking space.
Yeah.
We also need to have more women as guests on the podcast.
What do you think? Should we just, like, drive around with, like, a long net on the end of a stick and just get them into woodworking that way?
Yeah, just get them in the net,
or
drag them down into a basement.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like
and some real barbarian type stuff, right?
Exactly.
And maybe like a little blow dart with a little bit of the tranquilizer.
Some small tranquilizer.
Just a little bit.
Nothing crazy. What's from what they say from Dahmer? I just want to hang out and watch a movie or something.
Maybe take some artsy photos.
Yeah, take some artsy photos. I can't wait till they do the new season of that show.
I'm pumped for that.
But anyway, so we also have our top tier patrons are Cockers, Luke Schmidt, Jason Price, Derek Jennings at Pecan Tree Designs, Corey Duvall, and Scott Eastman at Eastman's Woodshop. And the Power Cocker, formerly known as Wes. I love that.
I do. I do too.
So if you want to get your name read on the episodes, you go to patreon.com/offthecutpodcast and join our Patreon community where you get access to the after show and a bunch of other cool stuff.
Mm-hmm. And normally we read your names earlier in the episode. We got distracted talking about movies and stuff.
Right.
We talked about woodworking at all this week?
I made some reference to cutting miters on table saws.
That's true. We talked about table saws a little bit.
Yeah. Huh. All right. Well, what do you say we head over to the after show and next week? Everybody listening now, we're gonna have our guest. Should we tell them who it is, or just save that for the patrons?
Save it for the patrons, but you're gonna want to tune in next week because it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be a good one. Yeah. All I will say, little teaser, is if you thought or you want to hear from somebody who's just getting started in woodworking and content creation stuff that has had a lot of success in a very short period of time, you're going to want to hear this. So, with that said, let's wrap this thing up and head to the after show.
Sounds good.
You got anything to say to the people?
Thank you for listening.
All right, we will see you next week. Tell a friend.
Send an email. Send us a voice note.
Oh, voice note. Go to the bottom of the podcast description for this episode. Send it a voice note.
Yes.
And not just Mark Alms. No, we don't.
But also Mark Alms, if you want to do some more, that'd be really cool.
We like the voice note things.
We sure do.
All right, everybody, we're out here. We'll see you over at the after show, or all the freeloaders. We'll see you next week.
See everybody.
See ya.